Welcome to the first episode of Killers Originals. My name is Oliver, and with me, today,
Libby. Hello. How are you, Oliver?
I'm fine thanks. How about you, Libby?
Me too, thank you, Oliver. Today for the first episode we speak about Charles Manson and the Manson family. Let's start us with, who was Charles Manson? Born in 1934 to a teenaged mother, Charles Manson's early childhood and young life was spent bouncing around between relatives, and later, in and out of institutions in the Midwest. In his early 20s, he married twice and fathered a son. Manson was considered so thoroughly institutionalized by authorities that upon his 1967 release from a California prison, he asked the warden if he could stay. Instead, Manson migrated to Berkeley and then San Francisco, cities that became flooded with young people looking to embark on a new way of life. An older figure among the crowd, he amassed a small group of followers, almost entirely women, and in 1968, headed along with several female followers to Los Angeles to pursue a music career, having learned to play the guitar in prison. Manson's tools of persuasion were the lax social codes of the late 1960s, in which runaway hippies mingled freely with Hollywood royalty, and his ability to tell others what they wanted to hear, both of which he parlayed into a friendship with Dennis Wilson, the drummer for the Beach Boys. Through Wilson, Manson met other music industry players, and grew increasingly fixated on stardom, all the while exercising greater and greater control over the group that came to be known as the Manson family. He was, as investigative journalist Jeff Gwynne put it in Manson, the life and times of Charles Manson, the wrong man in the right place at the right time. After the family members behind the August 1969 murders were apprehended, Manson was put on trial for murder along with them. He didn't do any of the actual killing, but prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi argued that the family did everything Manson ordered them to do, including murder. One of California's longest-standing prison inmates, Manson died in November 2017.
Thanks, Libby. Now we speak about who were the followers known as the Manson family. In the public's imagination, the Manson girls, as they came to be known, loomed almost as large as Manson himself. Mostly young women in their late teens and early 20s, Manson family members were, in the late 1960s, not especially unusual. White, middle-class women all over the country were heading for cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles, inspired by other hippies to turn on, tune in, and drop out. Manson used his female followers to lure other men to both join the group and to support it. It was several of the women that initially met Dennis Wilson and brought Manson to his home. Manson and the family bounced around Los Angeles, eventually settling at Spahn Ranch, an old film and television set in the western San Fernando Valley. At Spahn, Manson exercised total domination over the group. Members were reportedly forbidden from wearing eyeglasses or carrying money, and in Member of the Family, My Story of Charles Manson, Life Inside His Cult, and the Darkness That Ended the 60s, Manson follower Diane Lake, just 14 when she met Manson, detailed long nights of lectures, in which Manson instructed others at the ranch to take LSD and listen to him preach about the past, present and future of humanity. Some of the family remained loyal to Manson even after he was sentenced to death, later converted to life in prison when the state of California overturned the use of the death penalty. In 1975, one of Manson's earliest followers, Lynette Squeaky, from attempted to assassinate President Gerald Ford, her gun jammed and she was quickly felled by the Secret Service. That was our first episode of Killers Originals. Thank you, Libby, and don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for more content. We see us for the next episode of Killers Originals.